Hi, welcome to Coldbrook Kitchen. Today we're going to make cauliflower crust pizza. And I may be the last person on the planet to have learned about this, but thanks to my sister, I did. So for those of us who think that fats are good, but carbs are evil, this is a great solution for having pizza. So let's start with about a pound of cauliflower. And we chop this up in a food processor. It's about 3 cups. Put this in a microwave safe bowl, and that's what we love about these bowls from Trudeau. You can microwave in them and then mix in them. And microwave this for about 6 to 8 minutes. While we're waiting for the cauliflower to microwave, let's mix up the egg. We're going to mix the cauliflower with 2 kinds of cheeses and an egg. And when you don't have a bowl to beat an egg in, this quick mix, even when you do, but this quick mix is great. So it's got ridges and little ridges up in the cap, so it does a terrific job of mixing 1 or 2 eggs for anything that you need. It's also great if you're mixing cornstarch and water or flour and water. Just terrific. And here I'll show you what that comes out looking like. And there you've got a beautifully mixed egg. We'll also get the cheese ready, and here we've got about 3/4 of a cup each of Parmesan cheese and Quattro Formaggio, and that's what we're going to mix with our cauliflower along with the egg to make the dough for the crust. Okay, we've got the cauliflower out of the microwave. Oh, it's nice and soft. This is great. So what we'll do is let this cool a little bit, because you don't want to cook the egg or melt the cheese just yet. Now that the cauliflower is cooled, mash it up so that it's all broken up and kind of like mashed potatoes. And then throw in the 2 different cheeses. That's the Quattro Formaggio, which is provolone, Parmesan, Fontina, and 1 other. And then Parmesan cheese, so this gives a great flavor. Mash these in. Add the egg that we beat up just a little while ago. And then we like to add a little bit of seasoning. So this is a chili pepper cutter. It actually doesn't grind, it cuts the chili peppers. So it gives it a great hit of flavor. Then in here I've got some oregano and some salt. And so we'll add that. And then let's just get that all bound together. And this pastry blender does a great job of doing that. One thing we really like about this is, as you can see, it goes up the sides so that it actually is more effective at mixing everything up. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Take a sheet pan and don't even think about doing this without some sort of non-stick for the pan, either parchment paper or even better yet, this non-stick sheet from Coldbrook Kitchen. Comes in a set of 2 large ones and 1 small one, and that works perfectly for this. So dump the contents of your bowl out. Okay, there's your dough. And you want to basically put that into a rectangular shape. What I've found is easiest is take the second sheet, put it on top, and then just start spreading it out with your hands. Your hands sort of act as a little bit of a rolling pin, just to get this shaped. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it a little bit thinner and with more surface to use for your pizza ingredients. Now, when you take it off, see you've got a great surface there. And if you want to clean it up a little bit, this bowl scraper does a great job to just even up the edges. And again, this is artisanal, so it does not have to look perfect. There you go, it's ready to go in the oven, which you have preheated to 425. So now the crust is ready. You can see it's picked up a very nice color. And you can make it ahead to this point. You can make it in the morning. Okay, so let's dress our pizza. In the meantime, while I was waiting for the crust to cook, I went out to the garden and got a few things. A couple of tomatoes, a jalapeno, an icicle radish, and some arugula. Martha Stewart, eat your heart out. It's still early season in Napa Valley, but we have a few things in the garden. Okay, so let's get the pizza ready. I like to use the pizza sauce from Trader Joe's because it's got good flavor and it's in a handy jar. Just spoon out a couple of spoonfuls onto your crust. There we go. And then I like to use a silicone brush to spread it around. You don't need much, you just want good coverage. That's good. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Now let's add a little more oregano, because what's a good pizza without oregano? We use this shaker for rubs, for herbs. It really is an all-purpose shaker. And then I'm going to put a little more chilies in here too. Give it a little bit of extra kick. Now let's take a little more cheese. And this is some more of the Quattro Formaggio. There we go. And now let's build up the flavor profile. I like to put a little bit of fresh garlic. You have to slice it really thin because this cooks fairly quickly, but with this slicer you get paper thin slices going both directions. And that makes it really nice. It's also got to stop at the end so that you can't go flying off. And we'll recover some of the ones that went over on the sides. There we go. Now, we can also use this for the jalapeno and get paper thin slices of that. And when it's this thin, and when it cooks a little bit, it just gives you good flavor without wiping out your sinuses. Then a little bit of our icicle radish. So this becomes sort of a garden pizza. And probably has a few full servings of vegetables in it, which makes it really nice and healthy. Now let's put a few fresh tomatoes on this. And I love using this Tari slicer because it does 10 cuts at once. And isn't that pretty? Take another one. And it makes beautiful even slices. Now we'll finish this off with a little bit of prosciutto. And I like to just tear the prosciutto by hand. And just scatter it around the pizza. You can use smoked salmon, you can use salami, you can use any choice of meats. You can get pepperoni, you can use chicken, cooked chicken. I wouldn't put uncooked chicken on this. But topping a pizza, you're limited only by your imagination. There we go. And then just one more thing. This is a little trick we discovered. I love the flavor of goat cheese, but I don't love a lot of goat cheese on, and it can be overwhelming. So what we do is we keep a log of goat cheese in the freezer and then just grate it onto the top of the pizza. So this gives a little bit of tang of the goat cheese without being overwhelming. And now we're ready to go into the oven for about 10 minutes. And here's our finished pizza, or almost finished pizza. Let's top it with a little bit of fresh arugula. This will at least give the illusion of being healthy. Again, this is a garden-style pizza. We've got a lot of vegetables, from the crust to the topping to the top topping. But this fresh arugula is just wonderful on a pizza. There we go. And then let's cut it. And I like to use a pizza cutter and go through, trying to keep the arugula still on. And if you're using this as an hors d'oeuvre, you can just cut it into squares. The crust will be a little soft. That's the nature of a cauliflower crust. So you want pieces that won't be too floppy. And the proof, as they say, is in the tasting. So let's try it. Absolutely delicious. Thank you for joining us in Colbert Kitchen.